Hey, what's up, guys? Product carbon footprint quantifies the total greenhouse gas emissions associated with a product across its relevant life cycle, expressed in terms of carbon dioxide equivalent. Okay, so there's three major steps you're going to take in order to make a measurement of PCF, product carbon footprint. The first thing to do is to define the scope, and really there's two major types of scope used. One is cradle to gate, that takes the product, studies it up to the factory gate, you ship it to your customer. At that point you've finished the assessment. Second one is cradle to grave, which is, as you might expect, takes the product all the way through, shipped to the customer, in use at the customer, or formulated and ultimately disposed of at the end of use. So it's much more comprehensive scope. Second step is to build the life cycle inventory. And this is the data intensive step where you're collecting all the data on the inputs and outputs associated with the product, raw material, energy use, transportation, waste management, etc. Third thing is actually doing the impact assessment, calculating the greenhouse gas emissions for each stage of the life cycle. And that involves, of course, converting those various greenhouse gases, because it's not just carbon dioxide, there's fluorocarbons, nitrous oxide, things like that. Converting all those into carbon dioxide equivalents using the global warming potential. So, a little bit about the data and the methodology itself. I'm going to give you guys a link, all the links, lots of links below the video here. The Greenhouse Gas Protocol Product Life Cycle Accounting and Reporting Standard. Glad I got that one out. That gives you a lot of detail on the protocols to use. In particular, as you might expect, primary data is the best. That is the data you have about your own product and processes. But of course, as you might expect, a lot of data, default data or standard data, is available for products and processes that you don't actually control yourself, and that data is in many cases available from third parties. So there's a lot of third-party data available in this field. Again, links below the video. Among those are databases available from companies like EcoInvent. There's a large list of standard databases, third-party, available on the GHG Protocol Lifecycle Database website. And Carbon Mines, another company, also has a fairly extensive database. There are standards, as I mentioned, in particular ISO standards 14040, 14044, and 14067. Most big companies, most big chemical companies today are measuring their product carbon footprint. I'll reference BASF. As usual, they're very rigorous and extensive in this area. They've in fact developed their own methodology for calculating PCF, which is documented, and again, all the links below the video, in a technical guidance document. They call it the Strategic CO2 Transparency Tool, or SCOTT, SCOTT, get it? For short, who said they can't be funny and clever in their marketing. And it includes scope definition, the system boundaries. I think most of what they do, and you can check this, is cradle to gate. And obviously they're using as much of their internal data as they can. A lot of stuff published, and again, the links are there. You know, if you're not of a mind or have the capability or scale to do this measurement yourself for your own products, there are a number of third-party companies that'll do the measurement for you. The aforementioned Carbon Mines is one of them, iPoint Systems, Sphera, Quantis, which is a BCG, Boston Consulting Group company. And if you do end up doing your own measurement, then TÜV, and I'm sure similar companies, will verify your measurements, verify the systems and standards that you use versus the various protocols and standards out there. So I'm not endorsing, by the way, any of these companies. I am merely listing them and encourage you to do your own homework. In summary, I think I would make a couple of points. One is, if you want to do this yourself, fine, go ahead and do so. Buy the data, do your own measurements. If you're not of that scale, please do get a neutral, respectable third party to work with, and make sure that it's an independent third party that is, using the right protocols and has a little bit of a track record in this area. The second thing is that if you're buying raw materials, chemical raw materials from especially the large companies who have their own PCF data, then for sure make sure that data is consistent with the PCF that you're developing from the products you make from those raw materials. Very important to make sure there's at least consistency there. One thing I would point out that there is variation between companies calculating the PCF for exactly the same product. As you would expect, there'll be some variation. In some cases, the variation can be pretty substantial, and then it's often necessary to dig into the detail, verify the assumptions, and again, ensure as much as possible consistency across the board in the measurements that you're making and the numbers that you are reporting. In the surfactant area, of course, as we've talked about before, besides water, surfactant is the biggest ingredient in many, many cleaning products. And so this is a big needle mover in the area of sustainability and product carbon footprint. I hope this information has been helpful. Please let me know by commenting, like, subscribe, and I look forward to talking with you soon. Thanks again for listening.